Hi, everybody. It's Kieran Sweeney, and welcome. I'm going to show you a really great presentation today. This is an opportunity to get involved in something that's trending. Now, when I started as an entrepreneur over 30 years ago, I started marketing a product that was following a trend. And then my second business, 10 years after that, I followed another trend. And then a third opportunity, I started another trend. I've always found that trends work beautifully in business. It makes it easier because people get it, they understand what's going on, the marketplace is already aware, and what's happening in the world right now is a global change in how we look at CBD oils, medicinals that are good for you, natural. And I live in Canada. It's going to be legalized in Canada in October, and it's starting to be legalized in various states. So what's happening globally is this complete acceptance of an amazing plant, an amazing oil that for years was illegal, but is now becoming legalized because of the huge medicinal benefits. So being so passionate about it myself and having had great success with CBD oil for my health and for various things, and all the stories I've heard with people who have had incredible ailments who have just been, they're either getting great help or they've actually been, they've been relieved of that health challenge. So what I'm going to do today is I've asked Dr. Roger Boger, who is an industry expert in the network marketing and alternative health care industry. He's actually quite well known, well published, revered, I guess, and he's a very good spokesperson. But he asked me to join this opportunity. He knows I'm a public speaker. He knows I'm a business mentor. And what I was looking for was a business vehicle that I could utilize to help mentor my clients and future clients, hopefully you'll become one, and mentor you in business, but using a vehicle that we can all participate in and benefit and profit from. So Roger, tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll just jump right into Kannaway. Guys, we're going to talk about the product, the health, the timing, and also the opportunity and how easy it is to get involved. So welcome, Roger.
Well, thank you very much, Kieran. I must say that it's a privilege to be working with you. I know wherever you speak, your vast reach around the world, and people who are centers of influence like yourself naturally attract people who should be aware of the fact that they're at the right place at the right time. For myself, for my wife Karen and me, we don't do anything that's not in alignment with our life's purpose. Our purpose is to make people more aware of what it takes to live a longer, healthier life. This is in alignment with that. We don't do anything that's not in alignment with that because in your heart, it just doesn't feel right. So with that as a rather lengthy segue introduction, I've been in wellness for 43 years, built wellness centers, and have had the privilege and honor to have business all over the world like you have. So here, this was brought to my attention with someone that dripped on me for a year, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it because I had this mental block about cannabis. And so what I'd like to share with you today is a series of PowerPoint slides here that will share those points that you spoke of earlier. So
And let me just interject here because I meant to say this. So some people may not be aware of cannabis. Some people are aware. Some people may not agree with it. But Kannaway has an oil that is not derived from the cannabis plant. And it's a super oil, and it's getting rave reviews. So just stay with us because this is something that is unique only to this company. Roger will talk about that.
That's definitely a game changer. Thanks for that, Kieran. Well, we're talking about a company called Kannaway, which is a subsidiary of Medical Marijuana Inc. We will talking about that. We're not talking about marijuana, but Kieran, most people don't know the difference between hemp and marijuana. On the left-hand side of your screen, you see a pictorial representation of what hemp is. It's tall like bamboo. It grows 20, 30 feet in one growing season. Actually, you can get 3 crops out of one growing season. It's grown for industrial purposes only. It's people make clothes out of it, paper out of it. Cars in Canada are made. BMW's making car bodies out of hemp. And so it is used only for industrial purposes. On the right-hand side is a pictorial representation of marijuana. It's short and bushy, and it has higher concentrations of THC, tetrahydrocannabinoid, which is that part of the phytocannabinoid, that part of the plant that gets you, quote unquote, high. So on the right, marijuana gets you high. On the left, hemp is for health and wellness. So the history of hemp is that was grown in the United States, and the War of 1812 with Mexico was fought over the hemp trade. The Declaration of Independence down here, Kiran, was written on hemp paper. Our founding fathers used it as commercially, and actually promoted the use of paying taxes with hemp crops. All medicines early in the 1900s were derived from hemp, had a hemp base. Matter of fact, when I was a kid, I'd go to the pharmacist, and in those days, I'm 75 as we talk. In those days, the pharmacist was a formulator. He had a mortar and pestle, and he'd have these terpenes, and he'd have waxes and all kinds of seeds and things. He'd mix up your medicine because the pharmacists were formulators, and he'd pass it out through a little window. And if you had the whooping cough, he'd say, "Here you go, sonny, here's your medicine." Now we pray to Almighty God that the person's taking the right pill out of the right dispenser. You know, it's a different ballgame. The Marijuana Tax Act in 1937 was enacted, and that prevented economically farmers from growing hemp. A lot of our livestock was fed with hemp. In those days, again, you didn't hear a lot about kids being autistic. 1 in 20 persons had cancer as opposed to 1 in 3 today. And that's because we were feeding our endocannabinoid system, which I'll talk about shortly. What are cannabinoids? They're special compounds found in the cannabis family. There are at least 80. Actually, there are 142 phytocannabinoids that I know of. And there are nearly 400 other chemical compounds in cannabis, chlorophyll, terpenes, flavonoids, and plant waxes. And these compounds, cannabinoids, are found in other plants like echinacea and flax, black tea, which is not common tea, black tea, kava, and hops. And so they're found everywhere. But the highest concentration is found either in hops that you alluded to earlier, Kiran, or in cannabis. This guy is one of the heroes in my life, Dr. Raphael McCullum in Israel, funded by monies from the United States, found that CBD and phytocannabinoids had a profound impact on cancer cells. 3 things happened. Number 1, it caused apoptosis of the cancer cell, which is death of the cell. Number 2, it caused reduction in angiogenesis, which is the blood supply and oxygen to feed the tumor. And number 3, it stopped the tumor cells, Kiran, from growing. Now, that was 28 years ago. Think about that, 28 years ago. Yet very few people down here in the States, and Canada's a little bit ahead, but very few people are aware that this actually happened. I thought that Dr. McCullum should actually win the Nobel Prize until I started to think about the economics. And this was smacking in the face of Big Pharma, and they didn't like that. So Raphael McCullum is indeed a hero. Here's what he found. The endogenous cannabinoid system, which are receptors, CB1 receptors in the brain, pictured here in green, and central nervous system. CB2 receptors are found in the body viscera mostly, in the spleen, pancreas, and on the surfaces of white blood cells. The CB1 and CB2 receptors are sensitive to endocannabinoids, and that's what Dr. McCullum found out. I remember coming up, Kiran, when people said babies that are breastfed by their mothers have a stronger immune system and we're healthier. Maybe you're not maybe old enough, but I'm old enough to remember that. And I wondered, what was it in the breast milk that was so substantial in helping these kids with their immune system? Well, what Dr. McCullum found, first he found the receptors, which are analogous to a lock, and then he found the key, which are the endoreceptors. In other words, there are endocannabinoids that are found normally in the body. And he found in mother's breast milk, guess what? He found anandamide and AG2, which are these endocannabinoids that are found naturally in the body. So all the while the baby's in utero, its endocannabinoid system is being fed. If it's breastfed by the mother, its endocannabinoid system is being fed. And then as we grow older, normally livestock and the things that we would eat were fed hemp, and they were feeding our endocannabinoid system. When I was a kid, 1 in 20 persons had cancer, and you didn't hear about kids with autism. Well, today it's changed. So right now, 13% of medical schools in the United States are teaching that there is a deficiency in the endocannabinoid system called an endocannabinoid deficiency syndrome. Easy for me to say. It took me a couple of months to learn that word. But when it's not being fed, listen, this is a key point. When we're not feeding this endocannabinoid system, which is a key regulator of all other 12 systems in the body. your nervous system, your skeletal system, cardiovascular system, hormonal system, and so forth. When we're not feeding that, the genius in the meat suit that we're walking around in, is not balanced, and we're out of balance, and that's called a lack of homeostasis. So as we progress further through this presentation, remember that fact. This is not about a plant curing any disease that we'll talk about. It is about the genius in the body called the endocannabinoid system, and when it's fed, it does all the rest. Recently, FYI, 4 weeks ago, back to Dr. McCullum, we found CB3 receptors, Kieran, and they are found on, guess where? The surfaces of cancer cells. So now that makes sense. Now it's starting to compute when you think about what happened. So this is a fascinating slide. This is Dr. David Allen. He's a heart surgeon. These are 2 quotes from a video that you can gain access to with Kieran. And he said, the discovery of the endocannabinoid system is the single most important medical scientific discovery ever. The single most important medical discovery ever. And that more lives will be saved through the discovery and feeding of the endocannabinoid system than all sterile surgical procedures combined. And he said, I'm a heart surgeon saying that. Now let's think about that. Most people rather die than think, Kieran. As a matter of fact, they do. But today, on this presentation, we're going to think, aren't we? So I'm excited about that. Here is a U.S. government patent. This is the number. And the reason this is key is this company, Kannaway, has controls this patent. Look at item number 3 there. It talks about that cannabinoids are useful in the treatment of a wide range of oxidative-related conditions, such as age-related, inflammatory, and autoimmune diseases. The reason anti-inflammatory is important, Kieran, is because it's the common etiologic factor to the 3 main killers of people in the world. Heart disease, cancer, and stroke are all a result of the inflammatory process. Heart attacks have nothing to do with your cholesterol. All the cholesterol is doing is patching over an inflamed lining of your artery, and when it does that, it keeps patching it over and over and over until one day it occludes the vessel, coronary occlusion, and that's a heart attack. Where does the inflammation come from, Kieran? It comes from sugar, it comes from gluten, and it comes from the standard lousy diet that we are exposing ourselves to and our children to these days. So look at the other thing, part 4 there, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, CTE, which are concussions that all these athletes suffer from. We have a lot of professional athletes that are using these products. So I am very, very excited about the fact that we have control of this patent. There's the number. You can look it up.
Awesome.
Kannaway is part of a parent company called Medical Marijuana Inc. Again, we are not talking about marijuana today, but the parent company, Medical Marijuana Inc., is a publicly traded penny stock. It sells for between 7 and 13 cents. And Kieran, maybe, I don't know if you still have validity in what I'm going to say, people say, but you know what? I remember when Microsoft was a penny stock and only 10 cents a share, and I didn't buy any. So
yeah, this is easy going to be, even if it's a $2 or $3 stock, it's a good buy. So I mean, I like the fact that it's public, and I we can get to that later. But as a promoter and distributor in this business, you have the opportunity to rise to a rank where you will actually get stock too.
So this is a company. Thank you for that insight, Kieran. And this is a company that is a hemp CBD phytocannabinoid company that uses network distribution as one of its arms. A lot of times you're going to see out there some networking companies that just took on CBD. Look at what the other stable of companies that are involved. Hemp Meds Brazil, these products are sold in Brazil as a medicine. As a matter of fact, we changed the law down there, and now there are 5,000 kids, Kieran, in Brazil who are using Kannaway products who are no longer suffering from seizures. Real Scientific Hemp Oil, RSHO, is used for companies that want to set up a B2B. In other words, they're not interested in the third way down on the right there around 4 o'clock on the clock. Kannaway's network distribution. I humbly sit before you as a professional network person, and if people knew what I know about networking, I couldn't keep them out of it. As you know, we made $13 million in 14 years on our last gig. That's because we were aware that we were at the right place, just like you were talking about earlier. I don't say that to impress you, but to impress upon you the timing and what Kieran is bringing to you. On the top left, there's Axon Biotech and Canna Life Sciences. Axon Biotech is in the Netherlands. Canna Life Sciences is the Salk Institute and in research facilities outside of Philadelphia. All day, every day, these research facilities are looking and investigating the positive benefits to your health and well-being of phytocannabinoids found in this plant. I just saw a picture. It had a teacher that walked the face of the planet, and you know who I'm talking about. And he said, I gave him this miracle plant, and then they made it illegal. I thought, oh my word, that was so funny. And on the bottom, you see phyto animal health. You're saying, what the heck is that about? Well, all living animals, from the sponge on up, have an endocannabinoid system that we talked to you about earlier. Cats, dogs, horses, and they, if they're stressed out, if they're a rescue dog or whatever, really benefit from these products. Echo Connection.
There is a product for animals, correct?
Well, there is a product for animals. We'll talk about that in a second, but yeah, absolutely. EchoConnection.org. You know, Kieran, you're an entrepreneur, a global entrepreneur. Every company has to have at its heart a cause. This cause at the 7 o'clock position there is called EchoConnection.org. Echo is a foundation that helps the parents of kids that are going through seizure disorders with horrendous medical bills. When Karen and I first met this company, we were in Arizona. There were 4 families that were on the stage, had accumulated $1.3 million worth of bills, medical bills. The president of the company just stroked out a check and paid for it right there. We donate a part of our check every month for these parents of these kids that are going through this I'll say it, this hell. I mean, it's difficult. So I'm so proud that we're sharing that. So we're a company first. And why? We're the first to create a mainstream natural botanical CBD brand, the first to launch a respected cannabinoid sub. All these firsts are important. Rather than insult you by reading it, read these. And this is a reason why it's important. Most companies that are first to market, example, if I said, Kieran, do you have a Kleenex, please?
Yep.
Well, Kieran give me a white paper tissue. I mean, it might not be a Kleenex, it might be a puff. But we grew up with the word Kleenex, and so he reaches for a white paper tissue. I said, Kieran, would one of your staff please make a Xerox copy of this? Well, it might be a copy, but it might not be on a Xerox copying machine.
Right.
But because Xerox was first to market, that's what we think of. A piece of chocolate. I don't know about up in Canada, but down in the U.S., we think Hershey's right away. Hershey's dominated the space. The company that's first to market with all of these things dominates the market. And what I'm saying to you, and you people who respect and love Kieran are here for a reason, because you know he knows about entrepreneurism. 36 months from now, I guarantee you, people are going to come to you and say, hey, George, do you have a Kannaway? Could I have a Kannaway chew, please? So that's why it's important to be a company at first. And look at this, the first to address the United Nations, the World Health Organization. This company was on Nightline a month ago. We're on the History Channel even. Everywhere you look, you'll see information about this company. The company is called Kannaway. It's built on these 4 pillars. It's family-oriented. Family-oriented because the company has one of its pillars foundationed on families. Our family, our entire family uses this product because we have a daughter that's going to college. Actually, it's helping to pay for her college education. And, kids of that age are a good market. It's sustainable. 4 out of 5 companies fail because they're undercapitalized and can't fulfill. That's not going to happen with this company. The founder is a multi-billionaire, and we grew 367% last year, Kieran. Most companies are happy if they grow 15%. It's driven by science. I'm a science geek, and I love the science part.
Yeah, you
so
are.
task on this, and really, I could bore everybody on this broadcast to death about the science on this, and actually would love to talk to anybody about that. And the products are natural and botanical.
And one of the reasons I joined is because you are a medical professional and you know what you're talking about, and it brings credibility. So anybody that joins my team has, basically you're one level separated from Dr. Roger Boger. So for me, these are decisions I make when getting involved in an opportunity. Who's behind the company as a management team? Who are the leaders in the company? And I know other leaders from the direct selling industry are coming over. Some because of you, some because of the opportunity and the timing. And so that helps me in my decision making as well. So I've joined, and I'm welcoming everyone to join. But let's continue.
Well, thank you for that. And as an aside, Dr. Stuart Titus, who's the world's foremost authority on the human endocannabinoid system, lives in Canada.
Yep.
He's in Vancouver. And we are blessed to have him, direct access to him. And so does Kieran and all the people that elect to align themselves with us. We are right there with the president of the company. He's one of the most gracious human beings I've ever met. And I remember he was at a meeting for 3.5 hours after the meeting was over and stood out in the hallway in front of a long line of people and answered every question from every person. He's a lovable, intelligent, genius type guy.
Awesome.
Kannaway has a family of products that are important. Listen, this space right now that Kieran is sharing with you is the wild, wild west. It is. Make no mistake about it. You're going to see CBD stuff and phytocannabinoids and we have the only game changer of the non-cannabis originating CBD, but these are the questions that you want to ask. Is the product triple lab tested? It has to be triple lab tested at harvest, when it arrives in the United States to San Diego, and after it's produced. Is it 100%?
Three levels of testing.
3 levels of testing.
So at production.
Pardon me?
At production, arrival in the United States.
Right.
And after final, what is it? Product?
Right. At harvest, it's tested as well.
Harvest, arrival in the States, and then final product. Good. So that's triple lab tested.
And it's when you're looking at someone else, is it 100% natural and organic? Actually, these products meet the biodynamic standards, which is the European version of what we call organic, except it's much more strict, much more stringent. Mm-hmm. This product is grown on a cultivar that's never been sprayed with pesticides and herbicides. It took Dr. Titus 9 years to create this cultivar, 7 years, 21 harvests, because you can harvest 3 times a year, to clean up the soil. The good news about hemp is that it cleans up the soil. The bad news, if it's sprayed with pesticides and herbicide, is that you consume it, you get sick. It is non-GMO. There's no way in heck that anybody in Europe is going to stand for Frankenfood. Nobody wants to genetically modify their food. And it's illegal in the United States and Canada because the products are extracted from the stalk and the seed, not the leaf and the bud. They're grown outside of North America. And all those things make it federally legal. And as Kieran alluded to, we have a product now that is a game changer for Canada that is non-cannabis in its origin, even though Canada has legalized marijuana.
So one other addition on that. So the oils are coming into the market fast and furious, and people are popping up with all kinds of labels, and I'm seeing it everywhere. The question is, what's the source? And this is important. We're still not, it's still kind of penetrating the market, and regulations are probably a little bit behind. So when you're looking at an oil, here's what I hear. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know the source. I need to know the source. People want to know that. And also, some people are taking oils and saying it doesn't work for them, or I tried it, did it for a while, but then it didn't last. And you hear all these. And I'm just going to speculate that quality and source is a big part of how it's going to work in your body. So another reason why I joined this is because they are 100% pure. They are non-GMO. They are built, grown in an area where there's never been any exposure to pesticides, because a lot of the soil is contaminated around the world. Right. A lot of the soil, like all of the fruits and vegetables grown in California, even though we have organic fruits coming out of there, the soils have been previously contaminated. And it takes, I think it takes about 7 years for the soil to actually fix itself, if you will. Yeah.
Yes. And, you hit the nail on the head there too, because you want to compare apples to apples. What you really need to be aware of as a consumer is how many milligrams. Not only what is the source that Kieran alluded to, but how many milligrams and what's the serving size. For example, here we have a full spectrum group of supplements, Real Scientific Hemp Oil. On the left, you have premium hemp oil. Full spectrum means it has a lot of the phytocannabinoids you're talking about. Mm-hmm. On the right, you see a bottle with a gold label That has 142 phytocannabinoids, but it does not have THC. This was developed for the European market because in Germany, you're only allowed less than 0.2%. In the UK, less than 0.1%. On the bottom left, you see, and right, you see applicators. The one on the bottom right, I call Bazooka. It's 3,600 milligrams of CBD and full spectrum phytocannabinoids, and it's decarboxylated. So a lot of the plants, waxes, and things have been taken out. On the bottom left is the green applicator that still has the plant waxes, terpenoids, and flavonoids in it. And so the homogeneity, the recipe that's normally in the plant is more natural in the one on the left than it is on the one on the right. I'm very, very grateful, Kiran, that we have Dr. Janelle Kim as one of our formulators. She has a doctorate in Chinese herbal medicine. She has created what we call Bibong formula. Bibong kind of sounds kind of funky, but Bibong in Korean means secret. It's the way that the terpenoids, flavonoids, waxes, and all the things are put together with the energy of intention. All living things are in a vibratory state. We're in an ocean of motion, right? And so the way these plants are put together is an ancient recipe, 700 years. Directly in her family lineage is Dr. Jung, who wrote the Domi Bokum. Domi Bokum is taught in integrated medical schools all over the world, and it is one of the first Chinese medical textbooks. So a combination of herbs and things that are put in with the CBD is part of the AM and PM formula, which I take every day along with the Revive. That's 50 milligrams, something you alluded to, Kiran. 50 milligrams is what you need to feed minimally, if you're healthy, feed your endocannabinoid system, just like we used to do when we were growing up, having consuming the livestock and things that were eating that when we were still eating meat, etc.
Yeah, and I watched Dr. Janelle Kim's video on the Kannaway website. It's very good, so it's worth watching.
She is awesome. She is awesome.
She's got great energy.
The skin is the largest organ of the body, represents 17% of your body weight.
This is what I'm excited about. Ladies and gentlemen, you want great skin? You need to have this on your skin. I'm very big on it, and there's a lot of great skin products come out with hemp, but I'm so excited you guys have this because that's important.
Well, just a couple of notes on those. You can see we have a salve there. We don't make any medical claims because of compliance, and we want to do that. But let's put it this way. If you have some discomfort, you'll want to use this salve. You can get rich in your own zip code down here in the States just with the salve alone. We have also essential oils that will help people to give them energy in the morning. It will help to quiet them down if they're a little edgy. And Karen and I, along with Kiran, I'm sure, we do a lot of flying. And when you're in an airplane, 75% of the air that you're breathing just was exhaled by somebody else. I asked Kiran, we're up in first class, I said, to the flight attendant, I said, how about up here? She says, well, Jack, it's the same up here. Air that you're breathing is in the last row back there. So we use this immunity, and the company has a body map that tells you where to put these essential oils, because you don't consume them, you put them on your skin. And so, or you can put them in a diffuser. And so they're really great. Kannactive is for kids that have acne. And you know, that acne that comes out of the skin is really the toxins trying to get out through the skin. That forms a pimple or a pustule there. And where's that come from? Lousy diet. So it's full of toxins. So what the Kannactive does is it goes to the subdermal layers, below the stratum germinativum, and it detoxes the toxin so it doesn't want to make its way out through the skin. Other skincare applications that you're familiar with make the skin really dry. The kid winds up with a pocked skin the rest of his or her life. It's awful. This is incredible. And then there's the Define skincare line, also with the Bibong formula. And it has a serum, it has exfoliants, it has moisturizers. It has, on the right-hand side is a really big container. It's like $38, and it gives you 4 soaks. You put that in a bathtub, a hot tub of water, about 1/3 or 1/4 of it, Kiran. And then here's a medical term. You leave the bath water in there till the next morning. And then the schmutz, that's the medical term. The schmutz that you see in the water came from guess who? So we are surrounded by toxins with the food we eat, the water we drink, the air we breathe, etc., the clothes that we wear. And this is really is a great way to detox through the skin. So again, to your point, Kieran, if you have any other thing, the skin's the largest organ of the body, and a lot of people don't take care of it. Okay. We have pure CBD supplements. The World Anti-Doping Agency, another game changer, has approved these products for athletes, for military, and for law enforcement people, etc., school bus drivers that are tested every day. These products are pure. They have no THC. And pure CBD is the first cannabis-based product. And it's available in capsules and oils that you can see on the left. Chews, which are developed for the European kids and our kids here too, who are, having monster drinks and coffee, trying to stay up for exams. There was a 14-year-old girl here in our community who got up in the morning, had an energy drink, then she had a cup of coffee before going to school, and then she took a monster. She dropped over dead right there at 14 years old of a heart attack in her own home. Mm-hmm. These chews have 100 milligrams of caffeine originating from chocolate, not coffee, and 4 milligrams of CBD so that it gives you an energy intake, but no crash at the end. We also have vapes. Vapes, remember, we have CB1 receptors in the brain. This passes the blood-brain barrier in about 3 to 4 seconds. Again, you don't get high from this. These are CBD oils that you vape. Very, very exciting about that line.
Well, that's good.
Here we go. This is the one that Kieran alluded to. This is a game changer when you talk entrepreneurially and medically, etc. This is the first CBD product from a non-cannabis source in the world. Developed by Dr. Joseph, who, by the way, went to Ohio State University down here, because his dad was opposed. Think about this. His dad was opposed to him getting involved with anything that had to do with cannabis. But he knew CBD had a profound impact on these receptor sites in the body. And so he went through and did some sleuthing. 10 years ago in India, discovered this Crya brand, which is an extract of hops. And this Crya brand with the Humulus oil is 1,000 milligrams in that bottle. It's bioavailable, and it contains high levels of CBDs and the terpenes beta-caryophyllene and humulene with sustainably sourced MCT oil, which is medium chain triglyceride. Aside here, people say, is it water soluble? You don't want oils to be water soluble. First of all, they're immiscible anyway, but that doesn't facilitate entrance into the body. They need to be oil soluble, and that then facilitates entrance into the body. This is a major game changer. Kieran, nobody else in the world has CBD from anything except cannabis.
Nice.
We have protein powder and greens. I can't go into this because of time constraints. This is like 5 products in one. The greens, I take this every morning. It has antioxidants. It has super greens in it. It has probiotics in it. All the things that one needs and that are generally deficient in the diet unless you're going to the farmer's market and getting the best of the best. Normally, these greens don't taste so good. This tastes really great. I combine this with a protein shake in the morning. And again, 75 was getting a little paunch there. You know what? It's gone. And so I feel really good with this protein source. It's CBD protein. By the way, the big bodybuilders and weightlifters now get their protein not from animal sources, but from beans, lentils, and cannabis, which is the highest concentration of protein on the face of the planet. So we have that. Also, here's what Kieran was alluding to. Cats and dogs, horses, they have an endocannabinoid system. And so Kannaway has products that are chews with 4 milligrams per 10 pounds. I don't know what that equates to in kilos to help me with that, Kieran. And we have pure oil for our pets. Again, pets get stressed out like people too. They need their endocannabinoid system balanced too. And then we have a chew toy. I don't know if you have a dog or whatever, and if they have a dog bone, after about 2 weeks, that dog bone starts to get pretty smelly. The thing with this is that it has antibacterial properties so that the toy never smells, and also has fiber in it. If they chew part of it, it helps with their digestive tract. I'm very, very excited about this. I don't know the stats in Canada, Kieran, but in the United States, there are more cats and dogs than there are people.
Yeah,
Big
well,
market.
and a lot of people spend more on their dogs and cats than they do on themselves.
And how about the horse people? They're
Yeah.
crazy people.
Yeah.
Also,
good crazy people.
Anything you can make from plastic, you can make from hemp, and also clothing. So Kannaway has a clothing line. They have jeans, they have workout leggings, hats, scarves, ball caps, lip gloss, wallets, and more to come. I mean, T-shirts with some really cool logos on them, and it's very soft. And the reason why this was problematic for the DuPonts down here is that this stuff doesn't wear out. Well, the DuPonts were in the clothing business, and they weren't happy to hear about that, which was part of the early vilification process. I'm going to skip over this. Anything you can make from plastic, you can make from hemp. You can make lots of things from hemp. Prosper magazine features Dr. Stuart Titus holding that root, which is the root of a cannabis plant. And he is the world's foremost authority of the human endocannabinoid system. We'll be down here in Columbus, Ohio, September 23rd, along with the president of the company, CEO, and a lot of the company stalwarts. If you're in this area at all in the northeastern or the midwestern part of the United States, if you're up in Toronto, it's not very far and so forth like that to come down. That's September 23rd, which is a Sunday.
Okay, put that on the calendar.
Kannaway, we have professional athletes. On the bottom right, you see Christian Okoye, who had the rushing record in the National Football League, was addicted to opiates. And he came off his opiate addiction as a result of using the Kannaway products. There's Nick Lowry, another NFL football player. We have also Olympic gold medalists now. And I know that in Canada, those boys that are the enforcers and the other people that play hockey, they take a tremendous, tremendous abuse physically. Look at here, CTE again mentioned for traumatic encephalopathy, which of course are concussions that these very aggressive physical athletes have to put up with. Soccer, all over the world, hockey, NFL football, college football, it goes on and on. So we're excited to have these professionals here involved. We talked about our cause. These are a couple of the kids that Karen and I have met, and we got teary-eyed because we saw that they stopped seizing and they were relegated. The little girl on the left is Sadie Higuera. She was destined to, the doctors in Mexico said she won't live to be 2. She was a year and a half old. She couldn't talk. She couldn't do anything. And her father, they said, just give her this medicine. In 3 months, she'll pass away, the doctors. The father said, imagine if you were a parent, somebody said that to you about your child. Yeah. What he did was got the Kannaway products. Sadie's now 5 years old, no longer seizes. She was seizing 100 times a day, and she goes to school. On the right are the people in Brazil whose daughter was the same thing. He then smuggled the Kannaway products into Brazil. Court case ensued. They changed the law of Brazil. There's 5,000 kids now using these products. That gentleman on the right, that dad, spoke in front of the World Health Organization in Switzerland not too long ago. So ECHO Connection is our, ECHO stands for Education, Collaboration, and Hope, and that's what our company is, one of the things it's standing for. And, I
just want to talk, you're talking about the children. I just needed to look something up quickly. But if you've heard of the famous story of Michael O'Neill, a child from Ireland that had a medical condition, and his mother was searching the world for help, and she was encouraged to go to Colorado because CBD was legal there. So there's that little boy. He's world famous now, but because of these oils, his condition is he can live with it. He's not experiencing the pain anymore. So it's a very important story to look up. Michael O'Neill and his mother Noreen. And there was also a story of I can't remember the name of the child from New Jersey, and also went to Colorado following that story. So we're starting to see a lot of conditions that children are faced with, where CBD and various cannabis and various hemp oils are starting to show great results.
We don't. Kieran, thank you for reminding me. We do not make medical claims here because of compliance, but we encourage people to do their own research. Yeah. EchoConnection.org, that you can see right there, EchoConnection.org, If you just click on education and learn more, up will pop 150 diseases that plague everyone. You click on the title of the disease. Under A, you'll see autism, Alzheimer's, things like that. And then you'll see the studies. And then you click on the title of the study, you can read. Men and women who practice medicine in North America and around the world go to pubmed.gov, and there you'll find 24,700 studies. If you type into the browser cannabis / any disease, and you'll see these placebo-controlled double-blind studies. People say to me, where are the studies? I said, are you kidding? Where are the studies? All we see on TV is, here, eat this purple pill and ask your doctor if this is right for you. You don't do that in Canada, Huron. You don't do that in Canada. There are only 2 countries in the world that allow people, pharmaceutical companies, to do that. The Netherlands and down here in the United States. Fortunately, the Canadians are smarter. Well, let's wrap this up, Coach, and just talk a little bit about being at the right place at the right time.
Definitely. Very important in business.
Everybody on this call that Kieran has invited here, you, when you think about it, have been at the right place at the right time. The question is, were you aware that you were at the right place at the right time? I made a joke about myself about with Microsoft, but here, cannabis is becoming the mainstream and is seen on almost all media. Everywhere you look, you turn on your reticular activating system, and boom, it's sort of like you buy a Ford, and you don't see them until you buy one. Then every place you look, you see a Ford motor car. Well, yeah. Here, no matter what their age group, no matter who you talk to, people my age, millennials, youngsters in college, and baby boomers, they all know something about this because it's all over the social media. So what Kieran is bringing to you is a vehicle that it's trending, as he said, and you're at the right place at the right time. Within the next 5 years, this industry is expected to out-earn the U.S. film industry, the organic food industry, and more than triple the revenues of the National Football League. So this is, let's
talk about that. One of the biggest industries in the world is food. And the other big industry is healthcare. So do you remember Paul Zane Pilzer? Remember the book, The Next Trillion? Well, he predicted this, 15 years ago now, and we are there. We're going into $1 trillion industry. So when you combine food and healthcare, they're massive industries. And this is a food grade product. So we are talking about a food grade product that people are going to consume. So it's going to be a multi-billion-dollar industry. And all you have to do is just position yourself in a company where you can help distribute these products, because people are going to be starting to buy them, especially with the legalization in Canada starting in October, and the world press that's going to be around that. And then the United States is eventually it's going to be nationally legalized in the States. So it's starting to be legalized in many countries around the world. So it couldn't be a better product, better time.
That's so brilliantly put. Think about what Kieran just said: health and wellness and food. If Kieran was my physician, I go there and I'm ill, he'd ask me 6 questions. The first one would be, what do you eat? Because you are what you eat, digest, assimilate, and excrete. You see the synergy here? Because we're thinking. The body, the meat suit that we're walking around in, if you don't feed it right, it's not going to function well. Mm-hmm. Brilliant, Kieran.
Yeah, and go back to the beginning of this presentation when Roger talked about you'll have to say the words because I'm still learning them, but our system needs this in order to thrive.
Yeah, we're feeding the endocannabinoid system. We call it the ECS.
The ECS, that's a lot easier.
Yeah, look at this opportunity. For people who are interested in network distribution, there are 5 different ways you can do this business, by the way. You can have a B2B, you can become a retail customer, you can become a preferred customer, do network distribution. There are 5 different ways to get involved. But look, this industry of network distribution pays out on an average of $200 million per day in global commissions. I laughed at this when somebody exposed me to network distribution, but at 55, I was able to retire, walk away, and do what I want for the rest of my life. And I'm so grateful for that. And I know, Kieran, there's a lot of people that follow your wisdom, and as one of the 5 ways that you can participate in this global vision, that's one of them. Look at this compensation plan. Everybody that's been in network distribution says that they have the best compensation plan. Well, that's simply not true, because I haven't had it 30 years. But these are ways that you can earn. And there are 3 or 4 ways that I see in this plan, Kieran, that I've never seen before. Let's take a look. A minimum income guarantee. I've never had anybody in any company say, hey, Kieran, how much would you like, would $30,000 a year, would you get, well, not you, but I mean somebody that didn't have your wherewithal. Hey, George, hey, Mary, how would you like a $30,000 a year raise this year? Would your company pay you that? And you get this like stupefied, no, I don't think so. Well, what if I could show you a way to make an additional $2,500 a month in a couple months? And if you do the work and you do what I tell you to do, that's $30,000 a year. Could that change your life? Hey, Bob, is your company going to give you a $50,000, $60,000 a year raise this year? Well, heck no. Well, I can show you how to do that. I've already done that in the first couple of months. And you know what? I can show you how to do that. How about $100,000 a year? Less than 13% of the people here in the States, I don't know about in Canada, less than 13% make only $100,000 a year. The other 87% don't even make $100,000 a year, which is like just get by money.
Yeah.
If you have a car payment, a mortgage payment, or whatever. So here you can make up to $1 million a year and more. This compensation plan with minimum income guarantee. Here's a special incentive. We mentioned that this is a publicly traded company. When you reach national director, which is where Karen and I will be this month, we get 100,000 shares free given to us. When we reach the top, which where we'll be in another year and a half or so, we'll have 2.4 million shares of this penny stock. Well, what if it goes to $1 a share? That's $2.4 million in the old pocket, and it's only going to go up from there. Trust me. I'm a dentist. No, but trust me. Look, there are incentive programs, rank advancement bonuses. Karen and I have been blessed. We're going to Hawaii and meet with some of the top people so that we can veg out and zone in to intellect and to God's genius so that we can make a bigger difference in the world. Well, so getting started, last part, getting started. You can become a customer with Kieran. You'd be happy to do that. You pay a retail price. You become a preferred customer with Kieran, and he'll give you a reduction, wholesale. You've become a brand ambassador. That's network distribution. That's one of the things that we're doing. You can have a B2B. That is, you can buy wholesale, sell retail. There's 100% markup. Or, you can do whatever you want to do with this. You can just share it with people. But let's say you want to become a network in network distribution. It's a small amount, and you help 3 people to move forward. You become fast start qualified. And what that means is you make triple income on the commissions on the packs that you sell. And Kieran can go over that with you. But there are early bonuses paid up front, which I like because I don't know if you've ever been in network distribution before, but people come to you and they say, so, Roger, how you doing with this? Well, I'm doing really well. No, that's not the question. How are you doing? Are you making any money? Well, yeah, I've been at it 6 months and I made $37 last month. I'll tell you what, call me later when you're doing something, okay? Here in this case, in the first 30 days, we were triple qualified. We made triple commissions. We made several $1,000 bonuses in the first 30, 60 days, and it just went up from there. So here, the compensation plan takes care of you early on so that you have a position that is stable to share this with people. These are the value packs. The first a couple of packs there that you see on the top left are for people who want to become preferred customers. They're not really business builders. That's okay. Then you could also purchase executive packs that have most of the products or all the products. Kieran bought one of the higher packs. Why did he do that? Because he's a business guy. He knows that you can't sell dresses off an empty rack. He knows that you have to have products to have consumed. They say, well, Kieran, have you tried this oil? Well, no, but here's a picture of it. No, so he knows, he's smart enough to know not to do that. Again, we're not trying to get in your purse or wallet, but if you want to do this as a business, please, please, please approach this as a business.
No, approach it as a business. I mean, if you want to be a product person, please, if your budget only permits $249, Totally respect that. But here's what I'm going to say. This, I only join opportunities like this for, I have a qualification system that I go through. It has to be the right product, it has to be the timing and the management behind it. So I have to check all those boxes. But you see that product pack right there for $9.99? That is the one that I'm going to highly suggest that you select. It has a good cross section of the products. You can do your monthly auto ship and get whatever oils and things you want. We can talk about that when you're signing up. But for everyone that joins at $9.99, I'm going to be offering twice a week 30-minute group mentoring. And what I'm going to be doing is teaching a lot of my mindset training, but also how to really kick this business up and be a professional and make it successful. I also want to say this. Another reason I've decided to join this is because the economy is going to change again. And we all know that multi-level marketing companies boom in recessions. So we're probably 18 to 24 months away from another economic correction. And it already should have happened, but if you're following any of the stock data and you're familiar with any of that, you're starting to see the warning signs. So, it happens every 12 to 15 years. We have an economic correction. So protect yourself and get involved with a product that's going to boom. But in previous recessions, there are always products and industries that thrived, and the cannabis and hemp oil business and CBD oils, it's all going to thrive during the coming recession, and so will a company like this. So that's an important thing, but get started now. You don't want to wait until the economy changes. You want to position yourself now. And the other thing I want to say is that a lot of people don't enjoy MLM, and I've had my resistance. I've had some companies that weren't nice to me and all that, but you get over that. But one of the reasons I joined is because of Roger, because I've known him for over 20 years now, and he's a genuine man, and he's a professional. He's a medical professional, but it's really because I see where this is going. And as a 30-year entrepreneur and a business mentor, and I've coached and mentored, some of you who are listening have been mentored by me. You've taken my trainings, you've taken my seminars, and if I'm gonna put my name to it, it's going to be good. But this is going to be a big success story, and I'd like you to join us.
Well, it's an honor, Kieran. I appreciate the opportunity to work alongside you. You really have made so much difference in the lives of so many people. And here's just enough. See, for me, I'm excited about that, because here's a guy that's the real deal. Here's a guy that is making a difference for all the right reasons. It's not about the money. We'll take the money, but it's not about the money, And
Yeah.
so I think that this is just serendipity. It's all in divine order, Kieran. Karen and I call it a godsidence. We have a chance to get things lined up. You are going to be basically helping to launch Canada, all of Canada.
Yeah.
And that's very, very exciting. We have business in all European countries. We have business. We're sold as a medicine down in South America, all states in the United States. So there's a big market out there. We grew 367% last year. Again, listen to what Kieran's saying about timing. So I'll close if you're done with me. I'll close with
yeah, I'm done.
One of my favorite poets is a guy named Robert Frost, and I memorized a lot of his poems when I was a kid, and it's just stuck with me. I don't know why, it just has. And one of his poems called Two Roads. And so listen up as a final note to your heart and to your mind. Two roads diverged in the yellow wood, and sorry I could not be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet we kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. We shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and we took the one less traveled by, and that made all the difference. You, ladies and gentlemen, have a chance with Kieran Sweeney to make that difference in the lives of those children who are waiting for you. And it touches my heart, you can tell, who are seizing, who are ill, etc.
That's
Thanks
helpful.
very much. I got to stop.
So everyone, listen, go to, so to go to the page to sign up is you're going to go to Kannaway, but go to cbdcuron.com. C as in Charlie, B as in boy, D as in Delta, Kieron, KIERON.com, and that will forward to my Kannaway site, and you can go there. But get a hold of me. I'll walk you through it. I'll help you out, and we'll just let's just knock this out of the park. All right. Thank you, Roger. You're awesome.
Bye.
Bye now.